Well, hello, everyone. I'm Mike Long, president of Parents for Educational Freedom here in North Carolina. We are going through some trying times right now with coronavirus having shut down our businesses, our schools, our towns, our country, literally the world. But yet life must go on, and especially in the field of education. And so right now we are talking to different school leaders who are telling us what they're doing and how they're adapting to the situation right now. And with us today, we have Andrew Harris, who is the head of Northeast Academy in Elizabeth City, North Carolina. Andrew, we're very glad you could join us today during these challenging times. Tell us a little bit, first of all, about Northeast Academy, not necessarily related to the pandemic that we're dealing with, but Northeast Academy itself.
Sure. So we opened about 5 years ago as at that time grades 8 and 9 with the intent of scaling to grades 6 through 12. We were the first and only public charter school located on a public university campus here in North Carolina. We've been on the campus of Elizabeth City State University since we opened, and we scaled now to almost 600 students in grades 6 through 12, and next year we'll add a 5th grade. Our focus is on really preparing students for STEM careers. We have specialized coursework around aerospace and aviation, some other courses in the IT area. But really, we hope all graduates will leave me well prepared for the workforce. So we offer them access to college and university courses as early as the 9th grade. Many will graduate from high school with a 2-year degree, perhaps even a certification. They also will complete, hopefully, an internship with a local employer of at least 160 hours, and will contribute at least 200 hours of service to our community. Last year, we had our first graduating class. About a third graduated with a 2-year degree at high school graduation. 2/3 graduated with at least 1 year of college credit. Just over half had completed a full internship locally, and 100%, all of our students had contributed at least 200 hours of service to our community. So for first graduating class, they set the bar high, and we hope to build on that legacy.
Now that we're closed, here we are in the middle of March 2020. We're all closed down. Were you prepared at all for this in any way? And if so, or if not, how are you adapting to the situation?
Well, we've always been a one-to-one school. Every child at NEAT is issued a Chromebook computer on the first day of school, and they turn it back in sometimes on the last day. Other students may keep it over the summer for coursework or different things. But we, as a result of being on the university campus, have been housed in a few different buildings. And during our 2nd year of operation, we experienced 2 tropical storms, hurricanes, within just a few weeks of one another, and we were actually displaced. And so we physically had nowhere we could hold school for a few days. And so we had worked since we were in the design cycle of this school to develop what it would take for anytime, anywhere learning. We wanted to make sure that we could have students out in the field collecting data, sending it back to teams across the 9 counties we serve, and collaborating in real time on teams. And so we started from the very outset thinking about how we would develop an environment such that our students could do that. When we were displaced in year 2 and we couldn't hold school physically, we decided, you know what, we've spent some time on this, let's go for it. And we did. And we developed something at that time we called remote learning, which, of course, right now is everywhere. Anyway, RLPs were a great strategy that we could implement at any time, so that we were never bounded by place, often by time. We can hold school anytime, anywhere. And so we've been really preparing for a moment like this for some time.
I love the concept of this remote learning, regional remote learning, and you have put that together. Did you find that during the process as a public charter school and a lot of the independence that you have as a charter school that gave you some advantages or disadvantages to be able to continue to operate and head on this path?
Our status as a public charter school definitely is a piece of this puzzle. I mean, we're able to, we have the flexibility to innovate in ways that a traditional district may not be able to do. At the same time, we're quite resource challenged. I mean, just from the capital funding, capital outlay, sort of the uneven funding that we're dealing with, layered on top of just some unique challenges with a small staff and that kind of thing. You know, not a 15-person IT team. You know, the first time we did this, we had an IT team of one, and so we've slowly grown the critical systems, but charter school status, the flexibility we have around personnel, school calendar, curriculum, really enabled us to accelerate development of remote learning in a way that really would be a little more difficult through another school model. So in previous experience, I worked with an organization that was tasked with designing innovative schools, designing programs that were quite different. And through that experience, it's immediately apparent that the flexibility that charter schools have is absolutely vital and enabled us to accelerate this process. I mean, the kinds of support systems we have in place would have taken a decade or more in a traditional school district. Mm-hmm. But because of the flexibility we have, you know, in just 4 years actually of implementation, we've gone from, hey, let's try this and see what it's like, to sound metrics for things like daily attendance, quality of instruction. We're doing virtual PLCs, PLTs with our teams, looking at student data. What does multi-tiered systems of student supports look like in this environment? So it's taken on really a life, I won't say a life of its own, but it's become just a seamless part of what we do.